So for week 6, while our reading takes us back to reviewing phonemic awareness some more and looking at activities for that, I'm moving forward as I'm taking on now first grade standards. And we have the phonological awareness standards for first grade, which focuses on distinguishing from long and short vowel sounds, producing single syllable words by blending sounds, isolating sounds, and then segmenting them. And so I do have an activity that is for segmenting called jumbled syllables, and it comes from Recipe for Reading. What's interesting about this particular activity is that it kind of helps bring into focus why we look at these nonsense words. Of course, this activity is focusing on reading and not the spoken component, but it's something I've used with kids tutoring, and it's something that I think can be easily adapted with different words. So the idea is that we have all these jumbled syllable parts. Obviously you can see nonsense words. But when we start to put components together, problem, velvet, let's see, and of course I've done this before many times, children, here's a good one, establish, splendid, oops, there's establish, trumpet, and then infantile. Turns into a vocabulary lesson with many children. But in this set there were 4 different sets of words, and then these are the keys, and that just comes from the jumbled syllables activity from Recipe for Reading. Great one to adapt with multisyllabic words for older students. Now, as we think about working with the continuum, this being knowledge of one-to-one letter sound correspondences, particularly looking at consonants, where it begins in kindergarten and then continuing on in first grade, I'm focusing a little more on the vowels because I think the consonants tend to be easier to teach, but the vowel sounds get extremely tricky. And so in looking at these skills broken down, then these are actually smaller components that I pulled from the literacy continuum that I continually go back to. But also in looking at this are some recommended phonograms or word families or rhymes. So here are some for kindergarten and some for first grade, including long vowels, so that students can learn to compare the sounds within each. Another activity for working with short vowels more extensively is one I'm sharing with you that I created called Short Vowel Uno. I made my card deck by printing the card pieces onto a thicker cardstock, and then on the back side just printing the back piece for all of them. Then I laminated them and I cut them out. So it kind of works like Uno. Obviously knowledge of Uno is helpful, but you can see that the color groups are then matching the short vowels. So all of the blues are your short U's. Gotta have some wild cards. The reds are your short A's. You have orange for E's. Let's see. I's are in yellow and O's in green. So one way students can play this obviously is matching the short vowel sound and the color. But another way would be to switch it up by letting them match ending sounds. So it gives it a little more of a challenge. I've got several CK in here. In any event, this is short vowel uno, if you're interested in checking that out and giving students more work with those short vowel sounds. Finally, I want to go back to the words their way, sorts. This is the letter name alphabetic spellers, or the second stage. I shared previously this particular sort. But what I like about these sorts is that it offers students opportunity with practice in matching sounds, writing sounds. I find though that the word sorts tend to provide some of the best challenges for students.